Welcome to Boys in Blue News. Today, we're here to bring you the latest updates on the Toronto Maple Leafs that have been stirring up the fanbase. The departure of John Tavares as captain has shaken the team's structure and sparked a series of discussions about the future of the squad. So, get ready for a deep dive filled with details on what this change truly means for our beloved franchise. Before we dive into this discussion, I want to ask for your help. If you enjoy Leafs updates and want to stay on top of everything happening in the Toronto Maple Leafs universe, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. Your subscription is crucial to strengthening our community of fans, and together, we'll make the Leafs' voice even stronger. Let's go! Recently, the Toronto Maple Leafs made a significant decision by naming Auston Matthews as the new team captain, opening a new chapter in John Tavares' career. After stepping aside as captain, the possibility of Tavares returning to the New York Islanders is becoming more realistic. But how could this benefit both franchises? Many questions remain, and it's important to analyze the situation. For many NHL observers, the removal of Tavares as captain represents not only a restructuring but also a transition that could lead to his potential trade. The Maple Leafs now find themselves in a delicate situation. If they don't want to face the same difficulties that the Los Angeles Kings encountered with Dustin Brown, the best alternative seems to be trading the player. This change might be painful, but perhaps necessary for the team's future. Tavares has a valuable contract and a no-trade clause that could complicate the operation. However, this unfavorable situation for the Leafs could turn into a great opportunity for the Islanders. After all, there's a rich history between Tavares and the New York franchise, and he could find a warm return on the island. For the Islanders, adding a talented player like Tavares could strengthen the team's central position. Imagine Tavares playing as the third-line center or even on one of the top lines. That's an exciting prospect for any fan. And for you, Islanders fans, how would you feel about seeing Tavares wearing your team's jersey again? It's understandable that many fans still harbor resentment over his departure in 2018. The decision to leave for the Leafs was a shock to many and left deep scars. But it's important to remember that in the world of hockey, decisions are often influenced by business interests. And when it comes to business, savvy managers know how to take advantage of opportunities. Lou Lamoriello, the experienced Islanders GM, is certainly considering this possibility. If the opportunity arises, who knows, Tavares might return at an affordable price? For the Islanders, this is a chance worth considering, especially if the price is right. Now, let's talk about the financial aspect. Tavares is on an $11 million contract for his final season. For the Maple Leafs, the ideal scenario would be to clear cap space and alleviate some of the recent financial pressures. The possibility of retaining part of his salary makes the trade even more viable. For the Islanders, who wouldn't be excited about the idea of getting Tavares at a cost that doesn't compromise the team's future? Imagining a trade involving players like Simon Holmstrom or Oliver Wahlstrom could be an interesting possibility, but what if we consider a direct deal with Jean-Gabriel Pageau? Tavares represents a significant upgrade, and his skills would add value to the team. And for the Leafs, Pageau is an addition that also comes at a much lower cost. Finally, the central question remains: would Tavares return if the opportunity arose? The Islanders can't afford to let this chance slip, but they also need to act cautiously. After all, a misstep in the negotiation could bring more problems. First, we need to understand the impact of this change on the team's dynamics. Naming Auston Matthews as captain is a bold move, but it takes Tavares out of a position that, let's be honest, was rightfully his. Did the Leafs really consider the consequences? I don't think it's just a matter of leadership, it's a reflection of how the franchise is moving. Think about it. We're talking about a player who has dedicated his entire career to the Leafs, and suddenly, poof, he loses the captaincy. It's a clear sign that change is on the horizon. And now, the question is, what to do with Tavares? If the team doesn't act soon, we might see disaster looming. And I know many fans must be thinking, what will Tavares do after this decision? Let's be honest, it's a business dilemma. The possibility of a return to the New York Islanders could be a smart move. They're looking for a quality center, and Tavares has the talent for it. But what about the fans' feelings? Many were hurt after his departure. Could he really be embraced again? Or do you think the wound is still too fresh? A trade is risky. Sure, the scenario could be beneficial, but the industrial question remains. What are the Leafs willing to sacrifice to free up cap space? Tavares still has a hefty contract, and as much as the Leafs want to shed this burden, is it worth the price? Now, I'll pose a challenge. If you were the general manager, would you make this trade or keep Tavares just to avoid the fans' wrath? Personally, I'd like to see a more strategic approach, a move that strengthens the team and frees up space, like a trade for Jean-Gabriel Pageau, for example. To me, Pageau would bring fresh energy to the center line and, at the same time, allow Tavares to regain his form without pressure and still focus on his own performance. And here's the final question. Are we ready for such a drastic change? We're talking about a passionate franchise, and the fans won't accept any deal that doesn't bring immediate results. The trust of the fans is at stake, and a poorly executed trade could be disastrous. Tavares has an emotional connection with this city, and who am I to overlook it? Finally, I want to hear from you. If Tavares is traded, what kind of return would you expect? What do you think would be fair for both parties? Let's debate this in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's time for us to unite as a true Toronto Maple Leafs fanbase. We're in this journey together, and your voice is essential in shaping the future of our team. Comment below because the discussion doesn't end here.